So Wisconsin will receive the opening kickoff. Kicking it off from Middle Tennessee is a Wisconsin native. Welcome back home, Balin Woodman from Janesville. Back deep for Wisconsin is Vinny Anthony and Cade Giacomelli.
Look at this formation, man.
Smoke and mirrors. Or since it's Middle Tennessee, blue smoke and mirrors.
Still got a funky little bunch formation here.
There's Woodman. Booming end over end kick deep into the end zone. He has had nothing with touchbacks all season long. He did have experience last year as a true freshman starter at San Diego State. With a fullback into the game, they give the ball to the second man through. It's Dylan Jones, and Jones moves forward for a gain of 4. We have already seen Dylan Jones run the ball. We'll also see Darian Dupree and Cade Giacomelli. Trying to get the ball out in space, they do. This is Tretch Kekahuna. Jeff Grimes showing off early. Third play from scrimmage. Jones, and this time walled up and brought down. Little speed sweep. This is Tyrell Henry. And Henry can't get to the edge. So third down at 7. Let's see what O'Neal has. He's got Jones next to him in the backfield. O'Neal, tons of time. Underneath. First down. Oh, that was a snap that was not expected. O'Neal, can he make something out of nothing? Nope. That's not unusual for Wisconsin. They've been doing that for years. Second and 14, and it's Jones who goes up the middle, trying to get back what they lost. He did, and another yard. Quickly out in space, and Kekahuna is wrestled down. Nice play on that corner. That's Jackson Lowe. Come on to punt. He is a lefty. Don't be alarmed. Aussie kicker. High spinning kick. Fair catch called. No, it wasn't a fair catch. Juwan Gaston.
Should have plenty of opportunity to throw the ball.
They start on the ground. We're going to see a lot of this guy, Jaquel Middlebrook, all afternoon long. 5 receivers set, no one in the backfield next to Vadiano.
Didn't take Wisconsin long to come out of that 2-deep safety look. Single safety now, nice.
Second and 4, pass complete to Miles Butler. And Butler has the first down. Let's see if Middlebrook gets a touch. There it is.
Nice vision.
Changes direction, still nothing there. Gets knocked to the ground, no gain. He had 2 interceptions against Miami last week.
They got him in center field now in a passing situation.
Blitz comes off the edge, picked up nicely. Out in space, this is Butler, who fights his way close to the first down marker. That's third down and 1. Just fall forward. There you go. First down on third down all season long for the Blue Raiders. DJ Taylor has come into the game in the backfield next to Middlebrook. Taylor wears number 29.
Look up a quarter cat blitz.
And they give it to Taylor. Plenty of time on that play clock, still 10 seconds. Vadiano, nothing there at all. Look at Allegro.
They're coming back man, back to the opposite side. Nice.
Man coverage. Going deep, this is Cox, and he's got it! Najee Cox. He beat Ricardo Hallman, the best that the Badgers have, out wide. Middlebrook stoned. With time, batted down to the line. Third down and goal. Can the Blue Raiders convert another third down?
Nice.
Fade. Incomplete, looking for Cox.
Got the ability to adjust to the ball when this guy's got his back to you.
Oh, look at this. Backup quarterback, Roman Gagliano.
They're going to get out of this. They're going to stop this.
Gagliano was the holder. If he gets it half away, it'll be a 13.5-yarder. Hathaway's kick. You betcha. Vinny Anthony is deep. This is returnable.
Yep, it sure is.
5-yard deep into the end zone. First start as a Badger, transfer from San Diego State. Wants to throw, no pressure at all. Coming out of the backfield, making the catch, Dylan Jones. Second down and long.
Defending the run here. Great job.
Jones just absolutely swamped
all the numbers around the line of scrimmage. They were dead set to defend the run on this play.
Third down, 4-man rush. O'Neal, he's got some wiggle, but not enough. Needed to get to the 35. Muar's starting tailback. Middlebrook is back deep to receive the punt from Bertram's. Short bounces at the 30 and will be touched at about the 21. Vadiato, quick trigger, gets it out in space. This is Walker. First catch for Amarion Walker.
Staying in a cover 2 scheme, that's pretty conservative. I can run against this.
This is Hunt, and he's got a first down. That time, not so much.
Yep.
Hunt swarmed and brought down after a gain of a half-yard.
Under pressure off the edge.
Vadiato wants a bunch, looking for Cox. He's got it. Another big play. Vadiato to Najee Cox. Big reason why the quarterback, Nick Vadiato, he's looked apart. Oh, look at this. It's going to be a halfback pass, but nobody's available. That was Miles Butler who had it on an end around. Oh. This is going to be an interesting call. Oh, it's going to be against Miles Butler for grounding.
The intent, at least half of it, was the right thing to do. Don't attempt to throw the ball back across the field, but to ground it intentionally, bad call. Just from reading his lips and his body language, he said, "You told me." I heard those, I saw those express words come out of his mouth. He must have consulted with the official before he did it, got a different outcome.
Inside handoff, Middlebrook. No gain. So it's 3rd and 23. Everything was going the way of Middle Tennessee until that penalty, and now they're up against it.
Well, you expect 2-man, cover 2 high safeties back. You got, 3rd and forever. An opportunity, what are you going to do? I'll take a shot downfield if you can get some protection. Just a 3-man rush looks like. Maybe a 4, possibly with a stand-up guy.
Bottom of the screen, it's going to be to the left of Vadiato, Najee Cox, who's their main receiver.
Just a 4-man rush.
Vadiato in trouble, has to throw it away. In hot pursuit was Sebastian Cheeks. And finally, the defense for Wisconsin stiffens.
Well, Sebastian Cheeks was actually on his cheeks, man. He was in close toe big time on that one. And he was hightailing it and showing you some of that athleticism. And they get off the field, which is exactly what Mike Tressel wants and needs to get his offense on the other side another shot at it. Defense does its job.
I just thought about it. Maurice Cheeks, the old great point guard. He's a Chicago kid, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't think about it until right now. I should have asked Sebastian yesterday. Well, Sebastian Cheeks and Maurice Cheeks from Chicago. Tyrell Henry is back deep to receive the punt from Ashton Logan. First punt of the day for Logan. Snap is high. Gets it off. Bounces at the 1.
Nice.
And was it touched in the end zone? It was.
Yeah, it goes in.
So it'll be a touchback. That was almost the punt of the year. You got Emerson Mendel, last week's right guard, moving to right tackle. And the catch is made. Big play. First big play of the game for Wisconsin. And it has been their consistent big play guy, Vinny Anthony, for 16.
Real prior to that play, only 42 total yards allowed by the Middle Tennessee defense. But here's a Jeff Grimes special here. Press off release, come underneath, get the big offensive lineman, Malman and company working. Let me tell you, that's the worst thing you want to see coming in your ear hole. A big 290-pound, make it 316-pound offensive lineman in your ear hole, man. Great play.
Darian Dupree into the game for the first time. And they hand it to Dupree. Met in the hole by Anthony Bynum. Still able to struggle forward for a couple. It's going to be a gain of 4, maybe 5. They really like Dupree. He's the same class as Dylan Jones. Dupree, sophomore from Chicago. He is from a famed high school program, Mount Carmel, the Caravan.
Dupree along with Yakimelli and Dylan Jones and company as a trio. I think they did a good job as a mean somewhere around 5 yards per carry last week. Very productive, but not what we're used to from Wisconsin.
Play action. O'Neal throws a dart, and it's complete at midfield. First catch of the day for Chris Brooks.
Now working from that Z position, Chris Brooks does a wonderful job, the redshirt junior, of hauling that one in. That's be able to put it where it's supposed to be, and he nails it.
O'Neal perfect. 6 for 6 on the day, 54 yards. Cade Yakimelli into the game for the first time. They put Yakimelli in motion. Little bubble fake. And it's complete for about a yard. That was the tight end coming across. Little shovel pass. It's technically called a pass. So Lance Mason, his first catch of the day, but it's only good for a yard.
And you can note that this particular case in time is Yakimelli. Big back is on that jet motion type fake. That is a classic hallmark of Jeff Grimes' schemes. He will get you stretched horizontally and then come back and then nick and dime you in the middle with those backs.
Now Yakimelli, standard issue in the backfield next to O'Neal. O'Neal wants to throw. He's still perfect. He's now 8 for 8 throwing the football. Vinny Anthony. And that'll be another first down for Wisconsin.
Was such a confidence booster to get your guy 8 for 8 batting 1,000. And here's the thing about it. They haven't had to sacrifice the running game, but, you know, they want to be a run-first team. Tradition holds that, and I think Jeff Grimes wouldn't disagree with that. But the way they're balanced right now, I'm telling you, you have to pick and choose. What am I going to defend? Can't do it.
O'Neal is a product of the Midwest. He's from Indianapolis. Cathedral High School. Did not play high school basketball. Says he can dunk, though. 6-footer with some hops. Yakimelli, his first catch. We had a chance to watch Yakimelli in practice yesterday, and he is cut up like coleslaw.
Yes, he is. I appreciate that reference. He's unbelievable. We got those big old thighs. You know, he looks like an NFL running back. I wonder which one out on the West Coast that you may be thinking. That same number. Listen, I wasn't going to say the name.
McCaffrey. Wow. Oh, my goodness.
He's a bigger version of him. He's thicker. He's not McCaffrey. I'm not saying he's that. But his body makeup is just like that.
He can squat 635 pounds. Ton of time for O'Neal. Has a man caught inside the 5. Lance Mason. Biggest play of his Badger career.
And Kalen Woods, number 18, was defending, and you see him put some air underneath that ball. Again, working off that perfect streak that he's been on. He sits, tremendous protection from that rejiggered offensive line. Working with the offensive line, making sure they were seeing everything in their individual session. As an old lineman, he knows.
Jones. Not going to happen. It'll be second down and goal. Abdul Muhammad comes from his corner spot to help out. Badgers huddling close to the line of scrimmage. 9th play of the drive. They got a fullback now, Jackson Aker. He's in front of Jones. Jones, oh my goodness. Just obliterated. Parker Hughes, how do you do? Along with Muaz Bayard, but that was Parker Hughes who got to him first.
Well, you can see all the way back on the second level, Hughes and company are there. You can see him identifying, and he's the unblocked defender. And he feels with aplomb exactly what you're looking for. Corey Smith was involved in it as well, number 58, playing that middle linebacker position. In for Alex Mitchell. Outstanding combination there.
Now you make your money on third down. Third down and goal. Pass play. Oh my goodness. Wide left. That would have worked. Lance Mason had a step, but the pass was arced the mark, and what a terrible time for O'Neal to have his first incompletion.
And see, that was one of those ones that are just sitting there for you to throw it and execute it. There's no pressure. There's no pressure literally upfield from the defense. All he has to do is place that ball exactly where it needs to go, and Luke Fickell understands that. Execute the play, son. No pressure. Can't pin that on the offense.
They're going to go for it. All right, the Big Ten's Wisconsin Badgers.
They got a switch route here. They got the open field. Give him another chance. Let him throw it.
O'Neal. Touchdown, Wisconsin! Tyrell Henry!
So there's the confidence of Jeff Grimes' schemes. Had a switch route on that side. The nice double motion.
Let's see what you got. That's what I'm talking about. Gaston lets it go over his head, and it's another touchback.
They can also be effective.
Costly penalty, stopped the Blue Raiders last time they had it. This time it's Middlebrook. Gain of 3 on first down.
And Middlebrook is one of those guys, Eric, that's got great talent and suite of skill sets. He's probably their best all-around weapon that they have. And you mentioned last night in our meeting, we were talking Christian Adner, formerly of Baylor back in the day when Coach
Grimes had him.
Yep, that's right. Jeff Grimes had him back there at Baylor. He's that kind of guy. Not as tall, but he can catch and run.
This time they fake it to Middlebrook, and the pass is low. Looking for Marion Walker.
Again, it's just execution. Otherwise, you've got a guy on the edge, on the wide side of the field, who's got his man beat inside. If you throw that ball where it's supposed to be, ahead of him about a foot, and let him run into it, you don't have anybody within 5 to 7 yards before he gets hit.
Tavion Galloway comes into the game. Number 88 is one of the tight ends. They split him out wide on 3rd down and 6. Wisconsin's showing blitz. Christian Allegro.
Got to watch the seam route on one of the hashes. If you can get back to that deep, that's a nice matchup challenge for him. That safety has got to get over there, hurry, quickly.
They're not blitzing, only a 3-man rush. Vadiato trying to get to the edge. He's got the first down.
Wow.
That was a nice block out there by Middlebrook to spring him.
Middlebrook's a 5-tool player. We've seen him run, hadn't seen him catch today, but you see him block now. He's not going to be involved as a returnman. He just shields himself, gets down there, and it wasn't quite a takedown, but it's very effective. Yeah.
That's the third down conversion for Middle Tennessee. Remember, they didn't do that once a week ago at home against Austin Peay. 5 receivers in the game.
Oh.
Picked off. Wisconsin's got it. Emilio Agard with the interception.
Ruling on the field is an interception by Wisconsin. First down and 10.
Agard played that beautifully.
Well, he didn't have to play it any other way. Even if it wasn't beautiful, it was coming right to him. Vadiato almost like he has a magnet on the end of it. He throws it right to him. Look, his eyes are squat, sitting right on this ball. His eyes are looking at the quarterback the whole way, and he just drives on this ball. But the ball was thrown directly at him.
He's deep behind the quarterback, O'Neal. O'Neal out in space. This is Henry, who's swarmed and brought down. That's going to be a big loss on first down of Middle Tennessee football. Kevin Byard. 2nd down and 15. Snap gets loose. O'Neal just falls on it. That's a big-time negative play. DeMonte Smith made sure he stayed down. Peduncle playing with Jake Renfro out with an injury. On 3rd down and 34. Trying to get it in the middle. Oh, my goodness, what a terrible decision from Middle Tennessee. I think this is going to be roughing the passer.
Yeah, I'm buying him. Yeah, and he's had to work to get back in the good graces, you know, again, despite the legacy of his brother and so forth. You look at this, the middle screen was what they were trying to work, and it was a hand to the face.
So new life for the Badger offense. 5:41 remaining in our first half. Standard issue, Darian Dupree. Woo. No gain. Snap was high. Maybe threw off the timing a bit. Third down and 9. After the timeout by Middle Tennessee. Line to gain is the 37. O'Neal.
Oh.
Whoa! How did that complete itself? Unbelievable catch by Kekahuna. That ball should have been dead to rights and probably going the other way. But it's a first down for Wisconsin.
Wow. I don't know how Juwan Gaston missed this ball. I think number 22 sets on this ball, and watch him squat. He comes out of his position and drives on it.
O'Neal is now 12 for 14 passing. A little bit of a high snap. Caught. Close to the first down marker, Vinny Anthony. Wisconsin brings in a bigger receiver, 6'3" Jaden Ballard, the transfer from Ohio State. He wears number 4. Could be a factor in the red zone. O'Neal. Did he stay in? Yes! Touchdown, Tretch Kekahuna! Did he land in bounds? The officials say he did. It'll be looked at.
It sure looked like he was in the air for most of the time. And his...
Oh, my goodness.
They may be able to reverse that part. I'm not quite sure. But I think that elbow is what ends up hitting on that line. Can't see it from that angle. That won't be the decider.
Aker in the backfield, along with O'Neal and Jones. Aker's number 34, tight end / fullback.
Oh, nice wham.
O'Neal underneath the tight ends, got it. And what do we got? Down at the 1-yard line is Lance Mason. What it does is it keeps Wisconsin's offense on the field to burn more clock. Right up the gut, it's Dylan Jones, and another touchdown for Wisconsin. Nathaniel Vakos. And flags are down.
Illegal formation. Defense, 12 men on the field. That penalty is declined. The result of the play, the try is good.
For DJ, Dylan Jones. Nothing but touchbacks today by Wisconsin here in the second quarter. Variato, Middlebrook. That's how you start a drive. Final 2 minutes of our first half. Blue Raiders with the ball. Little slant trying to get it to A.J. Jones. It's incomplete.
Nichols showing some of that fast release, flicking that ball out there like that. He's confident, man. Ball really comes off his fingers with some life to it.
Well, another incompletion. It would stop the clock, and they'd be running the risk of giving the ball back to Wisconsin with a ton of time. Maybe conservative here. Caught, trying to get out of bounds, not being able to is Najee Cox. Clock moves. It'll bring up 3rd down. Speeding to the line are the Blue Raiders. 3rd down at 4.
Fade ball.
Tipped. Incomplete. Incomplete. That was Ricardo Holman who got his hands on it. Holman looking for his first interception since 2023 when he had 7 picks.
Yeah, and partner number 2, Ricardo Holman, was actually defended on the previous play as well. I would not continue to try to, and they're not going to do it, but test the fate again in this game as it winds down. You're backed up too far and you're going to be taking chances like that over the middle of the field. I thought they'd work the edges more judiciously.
And what they did is they left a whole bunch of time on the clock for Wisconsin. Tyrell Henry is back deep to receive this punt. Ashton Logan is the punter. "19-yard line is where Wisconsin will take over after the 38-yard punt. O'Neal.
Oh, doctor.
Intercepted, DeMonte Smith. What a disaster for Wisconsin.
Trying to work the middle of the field. Don't try to do this. There's too many bodies in the middle. Too much is going on. O'Neal flicks that thing underneath. It's just too much garbage going on, man.
Variato. Middlebrook. Down to the 4. Clock will stop. 1:09 remaining in the half.
And I'll tell you what, if the free safety, Preston Zachman, doesn't come down out of his hole from that position, he might have had a chance to get in that end zone. And again, the range of the safety and his speed was what allowed him to make that play. They're going to try to continue to work the edges. That's how you deal with an opportunity to score with seconds left on the clock. 1:09 now. You got to get out of this bunch formation, for example, and get to the edges somehow, or get the ball out quickly.
Cameron Lacey, the man in motion.
Quick.
Variano back in the end zone. Touchdown, Hunter Tipton. Four-point game. Anthony's in the end zone for Wisconsin. Giacomelli is with him as well. Balin Woodman has had nothing but touchbacks all season long on kickoffs. This was returnable. Here comes Anthony, full head of steam. Cut down at the 30-yard line. Takes some time off the clock. 22-yard return.
With last time, I'd find a way to get the ball either to the edge or wait to get to the second half, man. I wouldn't try anything else.
Man, if they turn it over here again.
Oh, gosh.
Woo! Luke Fickell now in year 3. Out in space, Kekahuna is smoked. Absolutely crushed. That's Jawan Gaston. Gaston actually had to play off a block and still came with some thunder.
Showing some speed too, getting upfield. He looked more like Gaston Green. You remember?
Oh, the old UCLA. Step up.
Man, I can't get anything past you.
Yeah, I think Wisconsin's going to head to the locker room and get a bratwurst right now. They have no desire to keep going. Yeah. Oh, look at that, straight up the gut, just basically trying to get to the locker room, and it almost breaks for Dylan Jones. Touchback, ball to 25. Variano 10 for 17 as a passer in the first half, 126 yards and a touchdown. Wants a bunch and gets a bunch. Catch is made. Miles Butler. They run it with Hunt, patient through the line. Crosses midfield, tackled by Jameer Latimer, but a gain of 6.
Yeah, that's 6 yards on first down a minute ago. When they continually do that, partner, they put themselves, once again, we're going to say it ad nauseum. For the defense, it's a run-pass conflict scenario. It's tough to defend when they can run it or pass the ball.
Quickly to the line. A little bit of tempo for Middle Tennessee. 4-man rush doesn't get home. Ball is tipped and falls to the ground. That was Miles Butler. They choose to run it.
Wow.
And Middlebrook has the first down. Good power running by Middlebrook, listed at 5'10", 196.
Not a lot of disguise other than the initial formation, but then just turns around and says, hey, look, if you're not going to change the structure of your coverage and keep it as it is, I'm just going to turn around and hand it off and run. It probably is what we call a check with me at the line of scrimmage when he goes up and decides which play he's going to run.
4 receivers in the game. No tight ends right now for Middle Tennessee. Quarterback keeper, Variano.
And I think part of that was just caused by the bad exchange. You got the running back and the quarterback.
Offense, 2 men in motion, but not getting set. 5-yard penalty. It's first down.
1st and 15 after the penalty. Middlebrook. Nope. Barely gets back to the line of scrimmage. A frisky Badger defense wraps him up.
Well, that shows you exactly how much you missed that guy at guard. They try to go over that same position. Left guard, there was nothing doing. I'm not sure if that was the wisest decision. And Derek Mason mouthed to his left guard as he was walking off the field, "You're okay?" And he said, "Yeah." Well, thought he was okay. He ran the ball right where he was, but didn't get much out of it.
They put Hunt in motion. They get it out to Hunt. To the edge. And he gets back to the original line of scrimmage before Sebastian Cheeks knocks him down.
I love the idea of keeping covering the total breadth and width of the field. You try to work the middle of the field, cost you an injury situation there, and then a no gain at another time. Get outside of that box, man, and make this defense run and chase.
So the ball's at 44. It's third down. Maybe Derek Mason thinking his team doesn't need to get the first down. If they get close enough, they could go for it. Plenty of time on that play clock. Underneath the tight end, Tipton's got it. Wrapped up at the 38-yard line. Good, sure tackle made by Agard. And now it's fourth down. Will they keep the offense on the field?
Great job by Agard with man coverage here. Everybody is manned up. Each one reaches one. You're responsible for it. Again, nice, sure leverage that he plays with. Doesn't overrun the receiver. He knows he's got help behind him. But again, you're playing a man coverage scheme. The onus is on you to make the play.
All right, they will go for it. They want to attempt the long field goal or punt it away. They're going to go for it, fourth down at 5.
Well, you got to move the pocket then and go to the right side and give yourself a chance. Otherwise, they're going to sack you.
Caught! First down. They trust Middlebrook, and he rewards that trust with a first down.
Well, we ID'd Middlebrook, number 9, as a guy that can catch the ball out of the backfield. And he just shows you why. Again, short yardage scenario doesn't matter. You got to account for a guy like that. He can hurt you. Very athletic.
Opening drive of the third quarter. And Middle Tennessee looking the part of a Cinderella here in Big Ten country. They've never defeated a Big Ten team. Only down by 4. On the outskirts of field goal range right now. Middlebrook. Another positive gain down to the 26.
Great job.
Christian Allegro a tackle.
Great job at the final second there. You saw Middlebrook with a nice little spin, a pirouette. Preston Zachman tried to tackle him, but watch the little move he makes right here. A little spin move for an extra 2.5 yards. Moving the chains.
Yeah, Allegro made a nice tackle, but it did come 7 yards down the line. 10th play of the drive. A lot of experience with that quarterback, Variato. Steps up in the pocket and gets close to the marker. Allegro landed on him. He's going to be just short.
Variato playing with a lot of awareness, understanding where he is, not trying to do too much down here. I love the fact that you pointed out his experience. This is the place on the field where it should serve him well. And also caps off to Derek Mason and his crew. They did a great job in their halftime adjustments of putting them in this position.
2 tight ends in the game. Potiker and Timpton. Power formation. Third down and 1.
Oh.
Yep. Out of the shotgun as per usual.
I'd run the option game up top.
No! Didn't get there! Allegro got him! That's how you play linebacker, Christian Allegro. First possession of the second half for Danny O'Neal in Wisconsin. O'Neal playing with Billy Edwards sideline with a bad knee, suffered a week ago against Miami. Straight through the gut, that's Darian Dupree. Best run of the day for the sophomore from Chicago, 14 yards.
Darian Dupree looking like my old teammate Marcus Dupree on that one, baby, scooting through there. He ain't as big as Marcus, but he looked like he meant business on that play. This is Wisconsin Badger football right here.
Wisconsin playing with a offensive line that has been moved around. That was a big story earlier today. The only starter on the offensive line that remains at the same position from a week ago is Joe Brunner, the left guard. New center, Kerry Kadunko, replacing Jake Renfro, not in uniform today.
Reverse.
End around. Kekahuna! Look at the speed! Stretch! Kekahuna! Touchdown! 61 big yards for the sophomore. them on these little end arounds, and why not?
And watch the big fella, Emerson Mandel, who typically plays that right tackle position, number 75, on the option to end around. He's coming. Watch him come into the frame. That little nudge right there was just enough. He actually ends up getting 2, and that allows Deuce to get in for the score. Number 75 got down there, all 320 pounds of him, man. You can coach with that.
Will we ever see a kickoff return again? Steve Tasker. Mateo Guevara back in the game at left guard. Good to have him back in. He was banged up last drive. He had played left guard last series. Variano in trouble, and he goes down at the 18-yard line. Badgers showing blitz this time. They don't bring it. Another 4-man rush. And catching the ball while falling down is Miles Butler. Just gets it off. Low line drive returnable for Henry. Sandwiched by 4 Blue Raiders.
And he's just got a great sense of what needs to happen to have success, particularly for an former offensive lineman.
O'Neal's pass is complete. They get it to the tight end, Mason, who's been a big part of their offense today.
He really has. From that tight end position, he's been ghosting people around the goal line, fake blocking, whether it's his hands as a catcher, blocker. He has been an all-around asset for these Badgers.
Mason now 5 catches, 65 yards. He'll get a drink of water. Darian Dupree in the backfield, alongside Jackson Aker, who's the fullback. Dupree runs behind Aker, pushes the pile forward. Still no whistle. And he gets it to the 31.
Wisconsin had a power formation there, but I'm telling you, man, but between DeMonte Smith, number 92, and Ja'Kai Woods, number 98, those guys in the middle are so stout. All of them are plus or right around 300 pounds, and they are tough to move.
Wisconsin playing with a line today of Malman, Mandel, Kadonko, Cubberly, and Brunner. We have not seen a sub on the offensive line today. O'Neal throws a dart. It's complete to Ballard. First catch for Jaden Ballard. And the former Ohio State Buckeye takes it to the 16.
Well, I'll tell you, Darian Dupree saved that play right there, man. Watch him, number 6, step up here and get this block right here. He's in the pistol formation, but he sees pressure. Boom. Allows his quarterback just to make that play. That's an outstanding job by him stepping up. Maz Bayard is the one who was there, who he blocked. Outstanding recovery.
Bringing an extra tackle here. And they run right side, not surprisingly. Just a short gain, Darian Dupree. And it's second down.
Good that you can feed him right after he does it. That's one of the things that Jeff does a great job of. He's trying to acclimate these wide receivers in this scheme to be appreciative of the fact that we may not throw the ball down the field vertically as much, but we're going to give you opportunities to touch the ball on reverses, jet sweeps, and things of that nature. So when you get a good block like he did, Dupree on the previous play, give him the ball and let him run with it as a runner the next play. I love that connection that he has with his players.
Eugene Hilton has checked into the game. Young freshman, they like him. Here's an end around. It is touchdown, Vinny Anthony. He finds the corner. 4th straight game with a touchdown for Anthony.
Going lateral, Dupree with the fake, and then on the end around. He just hits his head on the goalpost, man. That's great execution right there. Set up. How many Mason has, for example, he's got 4, and then Kakahuna's got 4. Look at the balance in the distribution coming from all positions.
Now, 7 different Badgers have caught a ball. Stanley Anderson-Lofton is the new quarterback. Design quarterback keeper. That's the first college play for Stanley Anderson-Lofton. He wants to run it. Very patient run. And he's got the first down. Maybe the first pass for Anderson-Lofton. Nope, can't get it away. Tackled from behind by Tackett Curtis for Wisconsin. Second down and long. Nope. That didn't fool anyone.
There's your boy
Nice
Reiger.
play by Mason Reiger. Start of our fourth quarter. Four fingers in the air. The true freshman quarterback, Stanley Anderson Lofton, still in the game on 3rd down at 17. Underneath, crossing route, catch is made by Stokes. And Kason Stokes upended by Preston Zachman. I think that Vadiano was injured. I just think this was the type of situation where they wanted to give the kid a chance to play here in front of a sold-out crowd in the Big Ten. What a beautiful punt. Ashton Logan is going to get that one downed at the 1. And Danny O'Neal has been able to do it, both passing to 7 different players and having 7 different runners touch the ball. Dylan Jones, they trust him coming out of the end zone. Aker in the backfield next to O'Neal. He's number 34, local kid. They want to pass it. It's complete. Catch is made by Joseph Griffin. They're going to head down to Tuscaloosa and take on Alabama. On a 3rd down and 1. How about that? High snap to the tight end. This is Mason again. Mason, his 5th catch. Oh my goodness. Another high snap. They're going to have to figure that out. O'Neal makes something out of nothing. 2nd down and 3. Aker back into the game to run interference. High snap caught. 1st down gain by Jones.
And that's problematic when you play the game the way the Wisconsin Badgers do.
On 1st down, looking for the knockout punch, and there it is! Jaden Ballard to the house! His first Badger touchdown!
Anybody else but me saying that. And then Kansas, when Andy Koltanecki left, went to Penn State, he got that gig and was only there for a short period of time. But I'm telling you, I think there are few people.
Anything.
That's incredible, man.
All right, back into the game, Nick Vadiato. So it was just 1 series and done for Stanley Anderson Lofton, and Vadiato's pass is knocked down.
Seems like a dark night today because all of the freshmen, but it's going to be a blossom moment at some point.
Coming out of the backfield, this is Middlebrook.
But the guy to me that just jumped out of film when I prepared was Catalano, number 44. He's the guy. He's the alpha.
That pass was well behind the intended target. He said, I'll be better, and he has been.
Oh, Doc,
that's
got it.
Touched at the line. Ball still moves out across the 50. And it'll be Wisconsin ball after that punt was blocked to the extent that it was only a 23-yarder. Yep, no doubt about it. Charlie Jarvis got his hands on it. Wisconsin in control. Danny O'Neal, his first start as a Badger, came on in relief of Billy Edwards a week ago in the win against Miami of Ohio. O'Neal, he's been really good. He's been accurate. He's spread the wealth. Jackson McGowan, that's the first catch for McGowan. 21 of 24 throwing the ball for O'Neal. Cade Giacomelli.
I think they're going to be fine on the road.
Eugene Hilton into one of the receivers along with Dekel Crowdis. O'Neal. Little wheel route to Giacomelli. It's not there.
Put some eye candy out there and affect your eyes.
Snaps a bit high. Giacomelli close to the 1st down marker. It's going to be 4th and about 2 yards, maybe 3 for Wisconsin. 4th down and 3. Power football. Giacomelli has the 1st down. Just in shorts yesterday in practice, and man, he is cut up. Little short dump off's going to result in a nice gain for Lance Mason.
He understands how to put together a system and a structure.
They start that play with Lance Mason in the backfield, and it's going to end with Lance Mason in the end zone. Look at the play call by Wisconsin. He's at 283 yards. He has thrown now for 3 touchdowns. Oh, yeah. He's going to keep that helmet off for the rest of the game. Look at me, folks. I'm the new star here in Madison. And if Edwards does go down again, or if they need O'Neal, maybe not even this year, going into next year, he has shown what he can do on this field. Ricky Hunt Jr. with the carry.
A little sheepish smile.
Here's the tight end, Hunter Tipton. Tackled at the line of scrimmage and brought down hard. Ricky Hunt Jr. just swarmed. That'll be a loss of 3. Last week's win for Wisconsin was tight enough that a lot of the younger players didn't get a chance to play late in the game. Today, a little bit different. You're getting young players like 3rd down and 5. Wisconsin playing with 2 freshman linebackers. And the defense holds up. Ladiano takes.
That was all about that wrestling.
Oh, Luke Fickell, Ohio legend as a wrestler. Is enjoying a cool beverage on the sideline, and he's giving way to Hunter Simmons. Hunter Simmons actually was in a pretty good battle for the backup job as the quarterback of Wisconsin coming into this year.
A decision where it was not total that they were playing with 100% assurance they were going to be good after the offensive performance last week. It was the defense that carried them in the shutout.
Uh-oh. That's still a problem. And the snapping of the football has been an issue all afternoon long.
Yeah, and this is where I call it the element of recency. What you do last, you tend to remember most.
Middle Tennessee wants some more. Here's Cox. Incomplete. With 2 minutes remaining in the game, and you just want to run out the clock.
Well, you do.
Particularly when you're having issues snapping the ball.
But you don't get the experience. You got to be willing to confront those things that you don't do well. Lean into it.
Chains will move. Clock will stop temporarily. Kennesaw State, the Owls.
Ooh, there's a little pressure
And
back.
Vadiano hits the deck.
See, that's what you do right there. You leave late on a positive note.
That's Mason Posa. Mason Posa, one of the true freshman linebackers that Wisconsin is so excited about. He ends the game with his first collegiate sack. Folks, there will be more of that for Mason Posa in years to come. Congratulations to Luke Fickell and the Wisconsin Badgers. They remain perfect. They're now 2-0 on the year.